Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, a business strategist, a real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. Every single day, I have the opportunity to help others unlock their potentials and guide them to succeed. Today, I have an amazing guest. This is somebody I've known for many, many years, and every time he walks into a room, he brings this light, he brings this energy, and brings everybody's happiness up another level. He is so fun to talk to, bounce ideas with, and he is just an amazing, amazing person. He's an expert in IBC, and you'll find out more about that. He is also Ascendant Financial's CEO and also affectionately known as J-Lo. Please welcome Mr. Jayson Lowe.
All right. Good to be with you, Fong. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Now, for people who don't really know you and what you do, and of course that IBC little mystery there, what exactly do you do and how did you become what you're doing now?
Oh my goodness. Thank you for asking. The process of becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept, is what we do. You know, we specialize in that. We've done so since July of 2008. And the essence of that concept, if your listeners have maybe tuned in, they've heard folks like Richard or other people who practice this process as well. The essence of it really is to recapture the interest that you're paying to banks, to finance companies for all the things that you need throughout your lifetime. And we have a wonderful team of people here. We serve Canadians coast to coast. We're opening in Quebec here shortly as well, and have been doing so for the past 12 years. It's been an incredible journey.
Well, great. That's always fun to hear when everybody's growing and expressing that message to other people who may or may not know what it is.
Yeah.
In your field, you also help people with their financial situations, help them out when they're either in debt or having problems with making payments and whatnot. Now, why do you believe that lots of people are so afraid of going out of their comfort zone and asking for that advice about finance?
You know, I think that as humans, it's in our nature to seek out comfort, right? To stay within our comfort zone. And when we break outside of that, that's when the best growth happens. And for the households and the business owners that we meet with, whether they're experiencing financial difficulty, so maybe they're in a circumstance where they're not sure which is their next best step forward. Maybe they're feeling a little bit embarrassed or a little bit anxious about what others may think about the situation that they're in. We really go out of our way to welcome people with open arms and to let them know that regardless of where they are, we're here to help. And we're here to help steer them in the right direction and give them good guidance. And for some people, that involves changing their habits. And so we're perfectly comfortable, you know, calling that out and saying, these are the things that you need to change. And we got to be honest with you, it's going to be uncomfortable, but that's where your best growth is going to happen. Because if you stay within your comfort zone, if you continue down that path of the same habits and the same routines and the same behaviors that got you to where you are now, a process change isn't going to fix anything because you're going to end up right back where you were. It's a behavior change. It's a mindset change. And you need a good coach. You need someone who can coach you and mentor you along the way. And that's what we love to do here.
So you really, really focus on that relationship building with
definitely.
Clients, right? Yeah.
It all starts there.
Yeah.
Right? A human connection.
and just get that comfort level, that rapport built up so that trust is being built between the two people. And more magic happens when that actually is built. Right?
Oh, definitely. And we love that because trust is, to us here at Ascendant, to our team, it's not a platitude. It's not something where we just pinned something up on the wall and said, you know, our objective is to be well trusted and to be, well liked and well known by the people that we serve. It's not a platitude. That's just who we are. You know, if you interact and work with people on our team, you know several of our teammates, and it's just coming from a place of authenticity. We really want to connect with the people that we work with, and we don't work with everyone we meet.
Right.
You know, the people that we are best suited to serve are people that possess the optimum mindsets of the people we most love to serve. And
I think that's one thing that really separates very successful people from the not as successful people, because they start to think about, no, I need to help everybody, right? What situation they're in and what type of client they are. I need more and more clients. But what you do differently is you pick your own clients in the end. You want to be able to pick those people you want to work with. Now, explain to us more about how that concept really affects your business, because not many people understand that.
Well, we decided right from the beginning that we didn't want to be all things to all people. We wanted to be all things to some people. And for us, picking a specialty was also very important, because if you think of any financial services business,
Yeah.
have you ever been to a restaurant where the menu had 626 items on it? And you spent most of your evening out just trying to figure out what you're going to enjoy for a meal?
Yeah, and then you have to go back and reread something.
Yeah. Right. Versus if you had a menu that was just a single page, it had your starter, your entree, your dessert, maybe a couple of choices in each category. Well, now you're really catering to that client that has that specific taste, that specific appetite for what you're serving. You know, we don't want to be all things to all people. We're not, hey, come on in and we do financial plans, RESPs, group employment benefits, savings and retirement programs, RSPs, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, real estate. Like, when people ask us what we do, we specialize in the implementation of the process of becoming your own banker, the infinite banking concept. That's it. And people are, wow, the infinite banking concept, that sounds interesting. What is that? Yeah. Or I've read the book, or I've watched some podcast episodes. I've done a bit of research. Tell me more. Mm-hmm. Well, now we're focused in a specialty. And being in business, Fong, as well, that if you were to sit down with a generalist, somebody who does all things mediocre, and you sit down with a specialist who does one thing extremely well, if you were to measure success just in terms of dollars, mm-hmm. I can absolutely guarantee, and I'm not a betting man, but I would wager that the specialist has likely achieved a higher level of success financially, because of the fact that they specialized.
Yeah.
So, that's what we do here. We love the process. We're experts at it. We hold ourselves out there as Canada's leading implementers of this process. And if Nelson Nash, the founder, the developer of the process, were still with us, he would attest to that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's specialization is key, and really being clear on the optimum mindsets of the people that you most love to serve. For us, it's people who are coachable, people who are action takers. Once they have their fact pattern in place, they take action, they make a decision, they're ready to move forward. They embrace learning new things. So we don't deal with people who suffer from the arrival syndrome, where they've learned all there is to know, they can't be taught anything new, they've arrived in their thinking. And people that we work with, they must have strong family values, they must be authentic and genuine, and they must be polite and easy to deal with. And when you put that package together, who you're really looking for is you.
It makes it so much more fun and enjoyable to work.
Yeah. Isn't that good?
Well, yeah, for sure. Of course it is. It's nice to work with. Now, you mentioned the IBC a few times, and we haven't really dived deep into what IBC is. Right now, I know you could talk days and days and days about IBC, but for this period of time, can you tell us what exactly is the highlights of IBC, and why people don't really know about it? Why don't people know that it exists?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that. I'll share with you a real example that I think your listeners will really resonate with. So back in April of 2008, you could still get 40-year amortizations on mortgages. And so my wife, Rebecca, and I, we purchased our principal residence. It was the mortgage was about $427,000 after a down payment. And in July of that year is when I was first introduced to the process of becoming your own banker. And so what we began to do by putting money into our policies, our dividend paying, participating whole life insurance contracts, we were accumulating this daily growing pool of financial value. We began to take out policy loans. We took that money directly to the bank and applied it to the principal balance of our mortgage. Long story short, we got rid of the bank in 7 years, so 33 years ahead of schedule. And the first person I called was Nelson, the founder of the process. And I said, Nelson, I've got great news. We got rid of the bank today. And he said, don't be so fast in celebrating. You have to finish your original loan schedule.
Mm.
You're just going to change the process of who's getting the money. So that $1,892 that we were sending to the commercial bank every month is flowing back to our family banking system every month. And so the reason people don't know about this, Fong, is that they don't understand the importance that banking has, the process of banking in their lives. For most of your listeners who are thinking, oh my God, like I've got a mortgage, I want to eliminate it in a shorter period of time. For most of your listeners, the process of banking is controlled entirely by someone else, not by them.
Mm.
And the moment that you understand how to take control of that function as it relates to your needs, everything in your life changes. It becomes a very peaceful, stress-free way of life. When you don't have to rely on a commercial bank for anything other than the convenience of debit, that is a very peaceful, stress-free financial way of life.
Right. Well, very, very well said. And I'm surprised you spent less than 5 minutes on it. Or you got all your highlights. Now, you mentioned before about how important family values are as well. And
Yes.
I know, like within your family, you have multiple bankers in your family already. Some who are already bankers at the age of what, 10 days, 16 days old?
16 days, yeah.
Explain to us about this generational kind of education and generational legacy that you're passing on as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah, happy to do that. So inside of our family, so we have 46 policies in our family banking system. And on each one of our 4 children, so Rebecca, my wife Rebecca, and I have 4 children under the age of 12, and they have all had policies in place on their lives as early as 16 days old.
Mm.
And the reason we're doing this is because no matter what's going on in the economy, no matter what's going on with interest rates or the real estate marketplace or what the stock market, the process of banking goes on no matter what.
Mm.
And we can agree we're going to need the use of money for the rest of our lifetimes. And so if you contrast what we're doing with what maybe other families do financially, there's a big difference. Here's what it is. For families who are not controlling that banking function, they're earning money, so that money flows into a checking account at someone else's bank. I say that again, someone else's bank. The money sits there waiting for the family to pay their bills and to take care of all their personal financial overhead. Every time they spend money on the groceries, the fuel, the power bill, the property taxes, the car insurance, etc., that is a permanent transfer of money away from the family. You can't earn interest on that money again. You can't spend it again. It's not only a permanent transfer away from you, it's a permanent transfer away from every generation that comes after you.
Hmm.
If you contrast that with the way we do things, we have a pool of financial value called cash values that's rising every single day, regardless of what's happening in the economy or the stock market. There's no viral pandemic that can take any of that growing pool of financial value away from us. And we access and utilize policy loans. We take advantage of the process of banking, but we control it in our family. So now the flow of capital is coming back, not flowing away.
Right.
It's coming back for my generation and for every generation that comes after me.
Mhm.
And we know that these insurance policies have a death benefit thrown in for good measure. So when that day comes, and that day will come,
Mhm.
when death occurs, and there's a tax-free windfall of money that comes back to the family to replenish everything in the system for the next generation.
Right.
But we have to teach the family how to be good stewards of capital. So we host an annual family banking meeting, and the kids are involved. And would you believe, Fong, the kids pick up on this much quicker than the adults?
For sure.
Because children have much higher neuroplasticity.
Yep.
That's why it's much easier for a child to learn a new language at a young age, and it's encouraged. So our children pick up on this. If you were to have a conversation with our kids, you'll hear them using language like, keep the money in the family.
Mm.
When we access a policy loan, we always repay it. We don't steal the peas.
Yeah.
We always put the money back into the family banking system. So they're already reprogramming and making sure that they're hardwired to take this intergenerational transfer of wealth and be good stewards of that for the family. There isn't any money that leaves our family.
Mm. Well, that's very, very important.
Isn't that good?
Oh yeah, the system's great, and for you to be able to implement that into your family and make it basically an entire family business, even better, right? You
Oh,
keep
it's amazing. It's amazing. We get to finance everything within the family. We get to shop at home. Property, vehicles, vacations, anything that we would have otherwise financed or paid cash for is flowing through our system, not someone else's.
Now, during that story that you shared, you also talked about the economy, you talked about the pandemic, you talked about having control. Now,
Yes.
we're facing challenges right now. Lots of people are either in lockdown or they're just breaking out to opening up back to the economy. How do you face challenges yourself, and how have you, from a business standpoint, adjusted to it so that you're staying ahead of the game?
Well, to answer your question, so I face challenges head on. You know, you've heard of the fight or flight syndrome.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced that feeling? We all have, where you've got that anxiety of, you know, maybe it was that schoolyard fist fight that you got into, and you remember that feeling of, am I going to run or am I going to stay and fight? And when COVID-19 really began to impact, you know, businesses and the economy, and social distancing measures were enacted, understandably so, I met with my team and I said, look, I'm not going to be the leader that stands up here and says, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. I stood up in front of them and I said, would you rather that I be honest with you? And everybody said, absolutely. I said, look, all indicators are this is going to be bad. We don't know how bad, but it's going to be bad. We have two choices. We can either advance or we can retreat, but we can't do both, and you need to pick one now. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. And our team unanimously said, we are going to advance. So we did a fire drill of remote work. So we had people go home, set up as though they had to work from home. We worked out the bugs, you know, the kinks and the technology that we needed to make sure was in place. And then once those measures came down, we said, okay, we've practiced the fire drill. Here comes the fire.
Yeah.
So everybody worked remotely. I told our team, I said, I'm going to double down operationally. I'm going to double down in marketing because I'm with you. I'm not going to let anyone on our team go without income or work. I will forego all of my income to keep our team gainfully employed.
Wow.
And I'll share this with you. Through the perseverance, through the tackling the challenge head on, our people feeling like they were supported and that we believed in everyone's ability to take the hill together, we more than 3x'd our business.
Wow.
So in any given week, we've got 40, 45 life insurance applications pending with the underwriters at the insurance company, just as a part of routine rhythm, operating rhythm. We haven't dipped 1 week since COVID. We haven't dipped 1 week below 100.
Wow.
What does that tell you?
That's preparation and surrounding yourself with good people.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's the key. And so I can have all the ability in the world to tackle a challenge head on.
Mm-hmm.
But if the challenge is bigger than me and I don't have the right people surrounding me, my perseverance alone won't carry the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did is I put everybody in front of me and I said, look, I'm going to be right behind you and I'll be pushing as you go. And I'm not going to quit.
Wow.
You know, have you ever had a CAT scan?
I can't say I have.
I'll tell you, I had to go for a CAT scan.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and the person didn't really get the joke at first, but I said, hey, if you find a quitting bone in there, can you roll me into surgery right away and take it out, please? And the person it took a second and then they went, oh, okay, I get it now. You're funny.
Which one's the quitting bone?
But I'll tell you, we have that persevering mindset.
Yeah.
And you can get through anything when you have the right people alongside you. And if you're supporting them and you're leading them.
Right.
And how do you lead? You lead by example. You don't ask anybody on your team to do anything that you aren't prepared to do yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's what's carried us through COVID. We're busier, Fong, than we've ever been. So we're blessed.
Yeah, no, that's very, very powerful.
I got to share this with you. Can I share this real quick?
Yeah,
with you?
Sure.
This is so good. So part of what we do on a quarterly basis in our organization is we have a profit sharing pool. So from every gross revenue dollar that comes into our business, we take 5 cents from that dollar and we allocate it to the profit pool. And then at the end of the quarter, we look inside the profit pool, we take half of the accumulated value and we distribute it amongst our team. And then we take the remaining half and we sit down together as a team, and my teammates decide what to do with that money to bless someone else's life in a positive way.
Wow.
And so we're so proud of this, because the most recent profit sharing pool, we took that portion to the food bank.
Wow.
And the food bank told us, they said, you're going to feed families for a month. Isn't that good?
That must be an amazing feeling right there.
Oh gosh. And I don't say that to be, because I'm not expecting people to say, hey, good job or anything like that. I'm just sharing it because of how humble it really made us all feel, because we recognize that while we're busier than we've ever been, the economy has come, at that time, had come to practically a near standstill.
Right.
And we recognize that hardworking families out there looking in the fridge, looking in the pantry and saying, okay, how are we going to get through this? And we were able to, the output of our perseverance, the output of our, unwavering commitment to advance, enabled us to bless other people's lives in a positive way.
Yeah, that's a lot of value right there. And as a very effective leader, like there's a lot of things that we look at in leadership, and that is being able to build a good team, giving back to the community, having that value system. And
yeah.
you are an epitome of leadership right there. So that's very awesome.
I'm grateful. I'm humbled. Thank you so much.
No, we also
all the credit goes to my team. And you've heard that cliche all the time, right?
Yeah.
All the credit goes to my team. I shout from the rooftops all the time. When things are bad, the buck stops here. When things are good, give the credit out to everyone else.
Exactly.
They're the ones that do the work. They're the ones that deserve it. When you go to a website and you look at, where it reads meet the team.
Yeah.
And you go in and the first, you see all these pictures and names of people. All the executives are at the top. Not on our page. You go to ascendantfinancial.ca. Our team is elevated. Our leaders are at the bottom saying, look up. Those are the people that make it all happen.
Right. Just those very simple little details that you swap makes a big, big difference.
Totally. Our team looked at it and they went, oh, wow, that's so our culture.
Well, as a very effective leader, you also surround yourself with other very successful people.
Oh, yeah.
And I know for a fact that you also have your own coaches. So what would you say is the most important aspect of coaching? And also, what is the best advice that you've ever gotten from your coach?
Oh, wow, that is so good. I'll tell you, the most important aspect of coaching is when you have a coach who sees potential in you, that it may not appear evident to you, but your coach knows that it's there. And it irritates, when the coach is really kind of digging in and looking for that to bring that potential out of you. And it can be irritating. And one of the best things that my coach, Dan Sullivan, from Strategic Coach, one of the best entrepreneurial coaches of our lifetime, he said, Jayson, irritated oysters make pearls.
Very good.
And so I love to be coached. And regardless of where you are in your journey, in business, in life, in general, coaching will help you reach your next level. And your next level is that potential that's within you that someone else sees, a very good coach sees, and they can help draw that out of you. But you're the one that has to do the work.
Right.
But that coach will steer you in the right direction and draw that out. And I love that. I cannot go without coaching. I have been and have had amazing coaches throughout my entire journey in business, and that will never end. The investment in coaching for me is like breathing. That's how important it is. And so for any of your listeners, make sure that whatever it is you're doing, seek out a good coach, someone who can help you become even better at what you're doing, to help you realize your hidden potential.
Right.
And believe me, everyone's got some. Everyone's got some. You've got a whole lot of potential that hasn't come to the surface yet. So do I.
Yeah.
We need good coaches to help us bring that to the surface.
Well, that's very, very good advice there. Now, you're a very successful leader. You're also a very successful entrepreneur. What still drives you? What gives you that motivation in the morning to wake up and go, you know what? I'm going to crush this every single day.
Opportunity. Opportunity is what drives me every single day. I see opportunity because I almost describe it as if you and I were standing next to a building and about 10 feet away from us was the corner to look to the other side of the building.
Yeah.
While everybody's standing there, planning there, strategizing there, moving toward a goal there, I'm already tiptoed to the corner, looking around the corner going, there's a lot more opportunity over here. But what do we need to get to that, turn that corner is we need capability, confidence. We need the right people, the right process, the right technology. And so I always go back and say, okay, what are the things that we need to begin putting into place now so that we have the capability, we have the confidence, we have the courage to pursue that opportunity. That's what drives and motivates me. And right alongside that is people. When I say people, I mean when I'm dealing with something in business, even with an existing client or with a colleague in the industry, I love the problem solving of here's where we are now. This is what we're aspiring to achieve. We're not quite sure how to get there. So I love to coach and develop. That is like, oh my God, that's adrenaline to me. Like I love doing that. And so when I come to the, step up to the plate, right? You've heard that expression before?
Yeah.
I'm ready to play.
Awesome. Always, your game is always on.
Oh man. you and I are hockey fans.
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine if Connor McDavid showed up to the rink? Could you imagine what the reaction of his teammates would be if he showed up to the rink and said, oh, I'm going to sit this practice out, boys.
Right? You're going to lose some followers.
Totally. So he's out there saying, follow my lead.
Yeah.
I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it. That's what I strive to do with my team. We play to win for each other. There's no individual game plans here.
Right.
We play to win for each other, and I'll be right there with you. I will be the first person on that sheet of ice, and I'll be the last person to step off that sheet of ice. And you have to do that consistently so that when you talk about consistency, your team isn't confused. Your team knows exactly what you're talking about. Isn't that good?
Oh yeah, it's very, very well said. And it's like you said, you're an epitome of leadership, and all those words are just top-notch leadership skills right there.
Thank you.
Now you have the world is your stage, and you have the next a minute, 2 minutes to express your message to everybody. What would that message be?
What I would share with people is that, turn today's challenges into tomorrow's rewards. So if you can focus your mindset on looking at the challenges you're experiencing right now, maybe you're suffering economically, maybe you're dealing with a challenge in your family, maybe you're dealing with a challenge in your business, whatever that is, if you can refocus your mindset to tackle that challenge head on and to say to yourself, today's challenge can be tomorrow's reward. It all depends on how I confront it. And if you don't know how to go about confronting it in that way, find someone who can be a confidant, a sounding board, someone who's experienced that challenge and overcome it. And just talk to that person and be authentic, be vulnerable, open yourself up to coaching and to feedback. That will change and transform everything. Because when people are crippled by a challenge, it's because they don't have the tools to navigate their way through it. And so if you possess the tools, get them out of the toolbox and get to work. Because coming out of COVID, there's going to be more opportunity than we've ever seen, Fong, in your or my lifetime.
Mhm. Yeah, very true.
Those who have the tools are going to be able to navigate through it. And if you don't have them, go find them.
Yep.
Get yourself a coach.
Yeah, for sure. Very well said. Now, for people who wants to reach out to you, I know you have a podcast. I also know you have your a few books as well. What's the best way to reach you and get to know you a bit more or ask you some questions?
Oh, wow. The best way would be to tune into our Wealth Without Bay Street podcast. That's wealthwithoutbaystreet.com. Visit ascendantfinancial.ca. That's ascendantfinancial.ca. And reach out to me directly. You can contact me directly if anyone wants to connect or just chat or ask me some questions, expand on some things that you and I talked about. I love connecting. I love communicating. And so I would encourage your listeners, don't hesitate to connect.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And for those people who go, oh, another podcast about numbers and banking, well, trust me, once you listen to this podcast, you're going to find out how amazing and fun it is to listen to these guys talk about banking and insurance. It's absolutely amazing. Lots of fun energy there. And they crack jokes all the time too. So it's a lot of fun.
We try to keep it entertaining and informative.
Right. Now, before I let you go, I have a quick 5 questions for you. Give me your first answer that comes to mind.
Sure.
Right? If you were a Disney villain, which villain would be most associated to you?
Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. I don't know, honestly.
Okay, let's change that up to be a hero. Which hero would that be?
Give me an example of a Disney hero.
Well, Baymax is a hero.
Okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Simba could be a hero.
Yes. Well, do I get to fly around on the carpet?
Well, if that's the case, you're either Aladdin, the genie, or the carpet.
Aladdin.
Awesome. If you had an opportunity to win the gold medal in the Olympics, which sport would that be?
Hockey.
Kind of thought you would say that. You have a chance to go to any concert of a person dead or alive. Which concert would that be?
Oh, wow. The Eagles.
You have the entire Eagles band at your home right now, and you're supposed to serve them your expertise dish. What would that be?
It would be steak.
Okay. You wake up every morning listening to
Foo Fighters.
Guess you're pumped up, right?
Oh, yeah.
And finally, last question is, what is success like? But before you answer that question, I have 5 random cards here. Give me a number between 1 to 5.
3.
1, 2, 3. So how is success like a cinnamon bun?
Well, it's really tasty. It's warm. It's delicious. I think I said tasty already. It's got the icing, which is nice. It's always nice to have the icing, the fruits of your labor, so to speak.
Oh, wow.
It's prepared with love, and it requires heat. It requires a lot of heat to go into the process. Mm-hmm. And then you have to get the ingredients just right. And when you get them just right, it tastes perfect.
And that's what success is all about, right? Well, thank you very much for that. Again, this is Jayson Lowe. Thank you for your time and your stories, your wisdom. It's been awesome having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. Great to be with you.
Yeah. And for everybody else listening right now or watching right now, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. Until next time, my name is Fong. We'll see you next time.